Welcome into another episode of The Well. This is episode 27. I don't know why I can't ever remember the numbers. It's really a
I don't
problem.
know
But
either. I really
I'm
don't.
Drew,
I'm Kat.
and welcome to the I can't remember the episode numbers episode. So episode 27 today. So Kat and I were talking the other night. Since we talk every night, shocking, we actually live together and talk to each other. We were talking about toys and kind of the change that has occurred from toys when we were kids to toys to what our kids played with. So, and we were reminiscing about the toys we used to love to play with.
Mm-hmm.
And one particular toy came up for the first topic of discussion, and we'll start here today. Cabbage Patch Kids. Cabbage Patch Kids was, my goodness, that had everyone in a chokehold. It was all the rage. There were lines, fights. I mean, when you
You
got the
remember that?
inside scoop, oh yeah. I
I
so
don't remember.
so I'll tell a quick story about Cabbage Patch Kids. My sister wanted a Cabbage Patch Kid, and I'll never forget. I think my dad went to New York. He went somewhere. It was New York or somewhere else, like in the tri-state area, and got a Cabbage Patch Kid. And I'll never forget. It was like such a big deal because they were so hard to get. And it was I even remember what that thing looked like. I didn't like it. I wanted to like pull its head off because that would have upset my sister, and that was all
Of
that was
course you
my sole
did.
purpose in life. But she had it was the bald baby, didn't have any hair. It was like, I don't think it was called the preemie. Didn't they have the preemies though? It wasn't a preemie, but it was bald, didn't have any hair. It was just like very babyish. I don't know.
Yeah,
I never
they made
understood the
those. They made
craze.
those.
And then, it came with
Well,
the
I would
birth
hope not.
certificate. That was, well, hey, nothing wrong with playing with dolls. But the birth certificate was wild, right? Didn't you adopt them?
Mm,
Didn't you
Yep.
became the yeah.
Parent.
So it was just, I mean, I guess on a adult level, you think of it, why are we promoting our young children to mother and father kids? It just, I get it. But if you think of it from that angle, it's kind of like, yeah, let's
But
promote
for the
like
most part,
young
people don't
pregnancy.
think like that. At least, I mean, that's not what I thought about.
So tell me what
You
you thought of.
did.
Did you have a Cabbage Patch Kid?
I did. I did have
Yeah?
one. I
Do you
think I had
remember it?
multiples. Yes.
You were fancy.
I had like 2 or 3, but by that point, they had been out for a while. So, but it's funny, I actually didn't like them as well as I liked some of my other baby dolls. I was really into baby dolls and stuffed animals like crazy. I loved stuffed animals
Yeah,
more
well,
so than I like dolls.
you were pretty young. I mean, Cabbage Patch Kids, I think they came out in '83.
Yeah, so I wasn't that old.
A bit
Um,
young.
yeah, but I
But
liked other dolls more than those.
yeah, I just remember the madness around that. But I
Mhm.
think if there wasn't so much craziness around the Cabbage Patch dolls, I don't know if they would have been as revered as they are today or as
Yeah,
such a nostalgic memory. Because literally people were beating the crap out of each other to get these silly things. I mean, it
that a
was,
lot of toys are like that though. Like, My Buddy, My Sister.
oh yeah,
Right, those are big.
my
Rainbow Brite,
buddy, my buddy, my
Raggedy Ann
buddy
and
and
Andy,
me like to climb up a tree.
Care
My
Bears.
buddy, Care Bears. Well,
I
let's
let you
not
sing
jump the
the song.
gun. I know I was having fun. You just totally
I'm sorry.
just
Continue your
destroyed
song
it.
and dance.
No, I don't want it anymore. I don't want it. I'm done. I'm over my buddy. I never liked my buddy. I hated those commercials. They
I
drove me
loved My
nuts.
Buddy.
That song was just embedded in that's another song that lives rent free in your head once it's stuck in there. And the commercial was annoying.
Why
Like you're
was it
not
annoying?
swinging, you're not climbing a tree with the doll. The
You
doll
know,
isn't climbing the tree.
I would. As a child, I would take that doll everywhere.
I thought it
Rode in
was
the
false
car with me.
advertising. Whatever. I'm entitled to my opinion. You can love my buddy. You have at it. I'll buy you one. Catherine's birthday's coming up, so everyone make sure you
There was one on
pop on
Facebook
by and
Marketplace
wish
that
her a
I saw,
happy birthday.
which
Was
is
there?
really weird. Yeah, which is weird because we've been talking about it. The phone is listening. But
So
yes, I would collect them all.
so tell me about your I don't know how to phrase this without it sounding really creepy. Did you have I'll try it this way. Did you have like emotional attachments to your dolls? Were there, certain
Yes.
dolls that you coveted more that were like for tea parties, and then you had other dolls that you would drag around the house cuz they were, I don't know. Like, was there a nurturing quality that you always had certain dolls that you wanted to nurture, other dolls that you just wanted to play with?
I treated them all equally. I loved all my dolls and my stuffed animals equally, and I would set them up on the bed, all of them, and that's where they would sit and wait for me when I get home from school,
Hmm.
and I was really big into magic, like, creating a magical world, like, I was really big into imagination, so I was always playing with my stuffed animals or my dolls and I always had one with me. So it didn't matter which one it was. I always had them. And then I used them all for tea parties or like putting them in my little baby stroller or sleeping. I would get all of them and sleep with them all at night, and they never fit all in the bed. Or
Hmm.
in the morning, some would always fall off the bed, and I always felt bad.
That's interesting. So you felt bad if so you
I
thought your
did.
dolls had feelings.
Yes. So, quick story, when I was probably like, I think I played with dolls or like stuffed animals and dolls until I was probably like 8 or 9. No, yeah, about 10. And when I was like, I must have been 6 or 7. My mom had made me some dolls for a doll house that she and my dad had made me for Christmas. And I took one of the little dolls to school. It was a little girl doll, like tiny, maybe like the size of your hand, dollhouse size. And it had little red braids for the hair. And it had a little tiny outfit on. And it was like, I loved it so much. And this girl, and I don't remember who it was. All I remember is I was in the library and she took it from me. And I about had a fit. Like I was about to like hurt someone if she didn't give me my doll back. And I was so angry and so sad that she grabbed the doll and didn't like handle it delicately and then wouldn't give it back to me.
So how'd you get it back?
So she finally gave it back to me, but I remember like thinking to myself, I'm never bringing my stuff to school again. People are
Hmm.
mean. So yes, I was very attached to my stuffed animals and my dolls. And I was happy for other people to play with them. They just had to be nice.
So there were rules of engagement to play with
Yes.
your
Yeah.
dolls. Got
It
it.
was like,
Got it.
don't tear the hair out, don't rip up the clothes, don't bother, like, crap it up. Basic, like, politeness, courtesy. Don't
I
crap
just
on my
remember,
stuff.
and disclaimer, I had a younger sister, so that's why I have a tendency to know about certain dolls. But the yarn, they used to use the yarn for the hair in a lot
Yes.
of the
Yep.
older dolls.
Cabbage
What was
Patch,
that
Rainbow
doll?
Brite.
Maybe it was Rainbow Bright with the red braids that came down. Was it the
Oh,
red braids?
no, Rainbow Brite had a ponytail.
Who was the one with the two red braids?
That I don't know.
Wasn't
There
Pippi
was a Cabbage Patch,
Longstocking?
and then there was
Maybe that's what it
yeah,
was. Maybe it was the
that's what I was
Cabbage
thinking
Patch.
of. But there was a
But
redhead with braids for Cabbage Patch.
we have to we have to talk about some of the toys that would never be produced today as well. So, like
You have a
Stretch
list, I'm
Armstrong.
sure. Which I
Stretch
don't remember that
Armstrong,
one.
like, filled with toxic waste and used
Okay.
to, like, pull them apart, like, stretch them, and he had I don't know what was inside of that thing, but it was like this weird kinda corn syrupy goo,
I
and
gotta
you
look at
always
that
tried
one.
to break it. You
Oh, yeah.
actually set out to that was the goal, was to break it. And it was not easy to break, and I remember
That's weird.
we filled it up with water once
Oh, yeah? That's
and
funny.
tried to pop it, but man, whatever was inside of that could not have been, like, safe for children. And
Probably
then
not.
I don't know if you probably don't remember these, but, like, even toys like Transformers, which we talked about, were die cast metal, right? Like,
Yeah.
probably not the safest
Rusty.
for kids. Lawn darts. Do you remember lawn darts? They were
Was that
these
Nerf brand?
no, no, nothing Nerf about these. So they were about this big. I would say they're
Okay.
about a foot and a half, and
Mhm.
they look like a big dart, and on the tip
Okay.
was this big metal spike, and you would
Oh,
throw them, and
that
you
sounds
would basically
dangerous.
have to get them in a circle. Like you would throw them towards some. So think of it as like cornhole. You had to get the dart in the circle, but it didn't drop in anywhere. Yo, these things, you could kill somebody. I'll never forget. My brother and I were playing lawn darts at my stepmom's house. My stepmom had two boys that were older. Like my stepbrothers were a little bit older than us, and my stepsister was a lot older. So my stepbrothers were kind of hanging out, just watching us because we were young. And my brother took that lawn dart and threw it, and it went right through the driver's side window of somebody's car,
Oh, no.
shattered it. just completely shattered it. And this was like one of the first toys I ever heard about being banned. Like they
Wow.
actually banned this from being sold. They were just, what a stupid idea. But I feel like toys back then just had a level of danger to them. I mean, my parents were not huge on any sort of guns or like
Mhm.
weapon toys. My mom was kind of like a hippie type person, so she didn't really like anything violent. But when I got my hands on like a BB gun or an airsoft rifle, oh my gosh, bro, I was like freaking cowboying it up, just shooting
Mhm.
everything I could find. I even shot one of my friends behind the ear. So that was
Lovely.
anything that was dangerous, I feel like we had access to as
Yeah.
children. So, did you have any dangerous toys that you remember that were like you couldn't see you wouldn't let your kids play with them today?
Honestly, I can't remember. I'm pretty
Mm,
sure I didn't. Most of the things that I played with were electronic, it was dolls or it was some kind of thing that you could turn on. Like, I was really fascinated with toys that you could like, that had special features of, like,
mm.
you had to turn it on or wind it up or push a button. I was really into, like, the mechanics. So, no, not really. I mean, the bow and arrow is probably the worst thing, but it didn't really do any damage,
Well,
compared to, like,
talk to
some of
me
the other
about the
stuff.
SkipIt. You brought up the SkipIt the other day.
Oh, yeah, that was one of my favorite birthday gifts I ever got for my birthday. I think I was probably 6 or 7 around that age, and I had a birthday home birthday parties were huge back in the day. I mean, they probably still are now, but everybody had a home birthday party or it was at the skating rink. So I had a home birthday party. A friend of mine brought a SkipIt, and that was one of the it's so crazy, and I'm sure other people might feel like this. You have a memory and you can feel the memory. I feel
Mm.
the heat in the summer off of our driveway, our, like, gravel driveway, and doing the skip it in the driveway and the sound it made, the plastic as it you skip like, you put it on your ankle, it's a little ring, you put it on your ankle, and there's a little plastic extension, and at the end of the extension is a counter, like, it's a ball that has a counter on it, and it counts how many skips you skip. So you have to swing it around it's like jump roping with yourself, and mine was pink, and I absolutely loved that thing. I also was really big into pogo sticks, so I love doing a pogo stick.
What was the fascination with pogo sticks?
It didn't
I
last
had the
long.
yeah, because they were frustrating, but I had the one where it was the ball and it had like it almost looked like Saturn. So
Yeah.
there was a ball in the middle, and then it had like a ring around it that you stood on, and you could hop around on it.
Oh, okay. We had
What was
those
that
at
called?
school. I don't remember.
Pogo ball. That was called
Yeah,
a pogo
okay.
ball. Go figure.
Oh, yeah. I got a pogo stick, I think, as a birthday gift one year, and I
Mm.
remember doing that in the driveway as well. And I was actually really good at the pogo stick, but I lost interest pretty fast. I think after that year, I was like, I'm not gonna do it anymore." And I don't know
I
what
got in
happened to it.
trouble on the I had to get rid of mine because like, our driveway was kinda needed to be redone, and we kept,
Mhm.
like, jumping and the pogo stick would leave, like, indents in the driveway, so
Oh,
my mom didn't like that.
yeah.
Especially on a hot summer day, it would just kinda sink in there.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
that do you remember clackers? There were these
Mm-mm.
2, like, acrylic plastic hard balls, and it was on a
Okay.
string, and you would hold it between your fingers, and you would smack them up and down like, literally, you could probably break every bone in your hand if it hit you.
I wonder if that
So,
was the precursor to the handheld one. Do you remember the
it might
handheld
be remember with the
clacker?
handle? Yeah. Or are you talking
This
about
one you
the
swung around and the 2 balls would hit each other. Like, I can
oh, I
literally
don't
see it in
remember
my
that.
head.
I remember where you would go up and down with it, and it would, like, swing up and down like this and go whack, 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 whack.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
those toys were like, again, these toys are just the level of
Oh.
danger we occurred.
How about the really cheap things that entertained you? Did you ever get those little tiny I don't know what they're called. They're like little aquariums, like games, and it would be
Oh, yeah,
water,
with the
and
rings.
you'd have to push
Yeah,
the buttons to get the
yeah.
water to shoot the rings up
Yeah, I
over
love
where it's
that.
supposed to go.
Yeah, or the
That was
maze.
such a huge thing as, like, a party favor.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. Or the
yeah.
maze. Yep.
Those were good. Those were good, and then, What else did I have on my list here? You know, you had the Etch A Sketch, and you would watch the commercial for Etch A Sketch, and they'd make
Yes.
like these. You could never produce this kind of
No.
imagery, so that was
I was
always
always bored with
frustrating.
that,
Yeah, after
especially
like 5 minutes, it
yes.
was yeah, it was no longer fun. It was just no longer
You just
fun. And
couldn't
what
do a
about
whole lot with it.
so correct. And speaking of kind of things you turn on, I won't say it because it makes you mad. Light bright.
Okay.
No, I was going to say something else, but anyway, keep it moving. Light bright.
Gotcha. Light bright, yes. Yes, I loved it. You know, it's so crazy thinking back now. Most of the toys that I played with, I always learned about them from classmates and TV shows. I don't know why. I always figured out like people would give me gifts for birthday parties and that's how I'd learn about a toy. So Light Bright was one of those things where I saw it on TV. I remember seeing the ad and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool. I want that." And I think the moment I got it, I was like, that's kind of boring. Like you basically put the things in and you light it up and then what? You're done.
God, I loved it. I could
Did
never get
you?
enough.
Did
Maybe it
you
was
like change things out a lot? Like the
so do you
little
remember the light bright that I had probably was,
Mhm.
predates your light bright. You had the black construction paper that
Oh
you would
yeah,
put
we had
on it
that.
and it
Yep.
would have the design, some of them, and you could
Yes.
so yeah, I don't know. I was fascinated with putting those pegs in there and
Right.
having it turn into something. So that didn't bore me. That and Spirograph. Do you remember
I
Spirograph?
love the
Oh
Spirograph.
my gosh. With the pen, and then you could do all those different design I think
Was
that
that the vibrating pen or
I
was
don't know what
that
you're talking about, but
that
no.
was different? Okay.
Yeah, Spirograph was these plastic cogs, and you would,
Yes.
like, put them inside, and it would make different patterns. You would put the pen in different parts
Got
of
it.
it, and you would kinda draw in a pattern. I think it's what's created kinda this fascination for me with patterns. Like, I love patterns, like, the way people think in a pattern, the way you draw in a pattern, the way you drive
Interesting.
in a
Is
pattern, the
that why
way
you got
you know.
that table with the pattern making in the sand downstairs?
Yeah, I love that table. I do.
Describe what the table is. It's like an
It's
adult
a
toy.
I don't know if it's a toy, but it's like a coffee table and it's round and basically it's got a magnet in it and a ball and it's filled with sand and you can program it to make designs in the sand. My dad had this like it wasn't a Zen garden, but it was something with sand on his desk. I've always been fascinated with that. Even a Zen garden, just the way you can perfectly make the lines. I don't know if you're those were big too, like the Zen gardens at one point. Everyone had a Zen garden on their desk with
Oh,
the little
yeah.
rake and you just kind of,
I really
you
didn't
know,
like that. It
that
didn't
or
have
the
enough
metal ball
things.
clacker thing where it had like the
Yes.
five and you would do, 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 do.
Yep.
So that was
That was
always,
at the all that stuff was at the Natural Wonder store I used to go to in the mall when I was, like, a
uh,
teenager.
Uh, well, what about Simon? Did you ever play with Simon? The four color Simon
I did
Says the
not. I got to a certain age, I think I was, like, 12, 10. I must have been 10, and I pretty much didn't play with toys much anymore after that.
hmm, yeah, but this
So,
would have been
I know it's technically a game, but I never played a lot of games. We played Clue, we played Monopoly, we played Shoots and Ladders, if that. I did a lot of Chinese checkers and marbles.
you didn't play Mastermind or Battleship.
No, no, I
Mm.
didn't. I didn't. So remember, my sister is 8 years older than me, so I didn't really have anybody to play with after she went to college, and I didn't really have a lot. I had neighborhood kids when I was younger, a lot of them that I would play with, but as I got older, I didn't have anybody to
What
play
about
with
Connect
really.
Four? Never played Connect
That we
Four?
played a lot of at school growing up. I
Do you
remember
remember the
playing that. I like
commercial?
that one. Yes.
Pretty
It's so
sneaky,
crazy.
sis.
I
Do you
can
remember
see
that
it in
line?
my head. I do. Yeah. It's funny
I
all
think
the
that's what he
ads you
said.
remember.
Pretty sneaky, sis. Man. How about do you remember those octopus? It was like these little octopus or octopi, whatever, and you would throw it against the wall and it would crawl down. It would
Those
like
were some of my
roll down
favorite. Absolutely love those little, like, slime creatures,
and
and
they
they would
would
always
just
come in
become a
party
dirt
favors.
sponge. Yeah, and it would be a dirt
Yes.
sponge.
They would, especially if you did it outside. I remember it would
Oh
get,
yeah,
like,
it was
rocks and
game
dirt
over.
all over
Yeah,
it.
game
Yeah.
over outside. But that brings up another kind of interesting topic that we can take a little detour off the toys, but it's still toy related. Was cereal toys. The
Oh,
stuff you got in
yes.
the cereal box that probably is not allowed today because it's all a choking hazard. So these little, like you would literally, I used to get in trouble. I think that's why my mom stopped buying cereal with toys in them. Because literally, if there was a toy in that box, you
You
were
were eating the
digging.
cereal.
You were
Yeah.
not,
Oh,
or you
yeah.
dumped the cereal out just to get the
That's
toy.
right. Always.
So, or and then you had like you could up the challenge, up the skill level if you had to
Yeah.
collect the UPC codes and mail them in to
Yeah,
get a prize.
that was hard though, because you want that
You had
instant
to eat
talk
a
about
lot of
instant
cereal.
gratification for kids now versus then. The instant gratification was buying the cereal box, getting home, and digging your little grubby hand down into the bottom of the cereal box. And sometimes they would put it in the cereal, and then sometimes they would shove it down underneath the bag. It depended on what it was.
Well, I'm talking about cutting out the UPC codes and having to mail them in. So you had to get like a
Yeah, I
certain
remember.
amount of UPC codes. So you want to talk about not having instant gratification. I mean, that was, you had to work. You had to eat a
Yeah.
lot of cereal and you were always bugging your friends, be like, yo, save, if you going for that. And if not, save that UPC code, hook me up.
Yeah, I'd always have to be like, "Mom, can you buy more cereal? Can you buy more?" I remember the only thing that we ever did a mail-in for. I'm sure I did it for other stuff, but I can't remember what they were. The one thing that I do remember mailing in the UPC things for labels for, and the little like I think I said it was like $2.99 or whatever it was for shipping. My dad absolutely loves orange juice and anything having to do with like oranges. Sorry. Well, they had a Tropicana watch and a Tropicana radio. And the radio was in the shape of an orange that had a straw sticking out of it as the antenna. I still have that thing and it still works like
Wow.
30 plus years later. He was like, I want to get the Tropicana watch. It had a black band. It almost looked like a swatch watch, had a black band, and on the inside, it had Florida's orange, like an orange in it, and then the little hands on the clock were straws, green and white. And I remember getting that, and that was the coolest thing. And the little radio in the shape of a big orange was so cool. Did you ever?
So
Do you remember anything you ordered?
I don't remember anything out of the cereal boxes. I think for me it was the magazine drives that I was always like, "Oh, I gotta sell a bunch of magazines because I want that stupid, like, frog phone," or,
Oh,
one of
gotcha.
those things. That was the big thing. What was it? I don't think it was Publisher Clearinghouse. Reader's Digest? Maybe that's what it was, like, magazine drive. I just remember the
Mm,
magazine drive every year. And I remember you just walk around the neighborhood knocking on random doors, asking people if they wanted to buy magazines.
that's so
We're
funny.
like 12 years old, right? So,
Yeah.
man, what a time to be alive. But
Ugh.
so so going back to toys or continuing with toys, do you remember some of the weirder toys, like really kind of creepy toys?
Like
Anything jump
what?
out? Like Furbies. Furbies were weird.
I never liked Furbies. I didn't like Trolls. I remember when Trolls came out, and I know
Mm.
some people will bash me for it. I thought they were the weirdest looking things. I don't even remember how old I was. I was young, and I was like, these things are creepy and they've got weird. And a lot of kids are like, oh, the hair is so cool. I just thought they were weird. They were like ugly little creatures.
Yeah,
I feel so mean saying that.
F Furbies were just weird because they would just randomly start talking and making weird noises, and it was just a creepy thing, and they were hard to get. I
Yeah,
remember
they
trying
were.
to get one. It was super hard to
Yes.
get.
I was gonna like oh, yeah, I remember those. They were very popular.
Yeah, I remember the noise too, and its little beak would and its eyes. How about the worm on a string? Do you remember that? It was like this
No.
fuzzy worm, and you would kinda dangle it. It would be like a magic
Mhm.
trick.
No. Oh, no. I actually don't. That looks weird. That looks kinda gross.
If you could figure out how to make it, you couldn't see the string, so it looked like it was, like, kinda floating in the air, so it had a
Yeah.
magic quality to it. How about Boglins or
I remember the
Boglins?
name, but I don't remember those very well.
They were like the rubber monster heads in the cage. I never played with those, but it kinda lived under your bed mentally.
Oh, reverse. I forgot one thing. Two things, actually. So Tony the Tiger, Frosted Flakes, they
They're
had the
great.
cereal box. They had a toy in there, and I was telling you this, I think, the other day. It was a Tony the Tiger, a tiny one that you would put into a 2-liter bottle of water, like a Pepsi or Coke bottle, and it would shoot, like, it would go down, and then it would shoot right back up. That was, like,
Ah,
a huge thing. And then Cracker Jacks. Do you remember Cracker Jacks? Did you
oh,
ever
yeah, you get
find
the
the
toy.
toys? Yeah, there
Yeah.
was always a prize in there. I hated Cracker Jacks, but I wanted the
I
prize,
s
so we always bought it. I didn't like caramel.
Yeah, I didn't like Cracker Jacks when I was a kid because of the peanuts, but
Mm. Oh, that's
I like
funny.
Cracker Jacks now, but there was what was it called? Fiddle Faddle? My mom
Yeah, I
always used to
remember
eat
that.
this called Fiddle Faddle, and I did like
Yeah.
that.
Alright, continue with your creepy toys.
So, Mad Balls, do you remember Mad Balls? The
Mm-mm.
eyeballs, brain monsters as, like, inside the ball?
No.
Those were creepy. I'm trying to think what else I had. Do you remember this thing called Mr. Bucket? It was a bucket, and it would run around it would, like, move around and spit balls out everywhere.
I don't remember that one. These are
Oh,
kind of, like,
yeah.
obscure, or at least obscure to
I don't
me.
I don't think it that super obscure, but it was
I
weird.
I remember. I do remember that. I never pl Oh, no, I didn't play with that. That was 1991. Were you playing with that?
No, but I remember seeing the commercials for it.
Mm.
So like, I feel like the what was it called? Gack? Do you remember
Mhm.
that? Did Travis where you would squeeze it and it would make fart noises? It
Yes.
was like the stretchy, slimy stuff that
Oh,
always was
yeah.
making fart noises.
Yep, I
I feel
remember
like
that.
toy manufacturers, and they probably still do this today, they literally made toys, and the use case was if it pissed the parent off, it was a winner.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like,
there
if
were
it
a lot of
bothered
those.
the adults in the room, it was like Bop It, right? Like, Bop It was super
Oh
annoying.
gosh, yeah, it was.
Bop it, hit it,
Did you do puzzles a lot?
slide it. No, my mom loved puzzles. My mom always was doing puzzles. She
Mhm.
just I don't know what it was, but she loved puzzles. I
You
didn't love
know,
doing puzzles.
in kindergarten, we used to have the wooden puzzles, and they would
Mhm.
come on you could stack them in trays, so you could pull them out, and they would be wood pieces. They weren't, like, super complex, but I actually really enjoyed doing those. But as I got older, I didn't like puzzles so much. I'm not
So,
good at
did
mysteries. Like
puzzles or
solving mysteries.
mysteries?
Yeah, anything like that. I mean, I can do a puzzle, but anything
How's a
harder than
puzzle
that.
like a mystery? That's wild. I never thought that's I don't even know how that correlates, but
You gotta figure out it's like reasoning, kinda like when you go to the escape room. You gotta collect the clues. This piece looks like it goes with this piece. That's how I see it.
hey,
Be
you're the
quiet, don't
boss.
question me.
I will never question you again, ever. Now I lost my train of thought. I was gonna ask you something. Did you have
Puzzles.
toys okay, we're moving on from puzzle. The mystery solution of puzzles equating to being mysterious or solving a mystery. Bum bum. Um, did you have toys that you didn't have and your friends did, and you would always wanna go over and play with their toys, and they would let you, but they were kinda like, yeah, you get limited access."
No, they never limited access. I never had the cool toys, never. My friends always had better toys than me. My my one friend, who if she listens, she'll know I'm talking about her, had the Nintendo game that was the sand volleyball, and then there was another one that we liked to play. It was like it was Paperboy. And then I had another friend, I went to a birthday party at her house, she had all Barbie stuff, and I'll never forget, she had a wind-up Barbie telephone, like a tiny, tiny one that you put in a little Barbie house, and it was, like, vintage looking, and I was fascinated with wind-up toys, I still love wind-up toys, I like how it works. So, yeah, everybody always had better toys than me. I did have some things that other kids didn't. But I was very territorial, surprisingly. I didn't like to share because my mom made a lot of my toys. So she made these big bears for me that I would play like tea party with. And my dad made my dollhouse. So I felt very emotionally attached to those. Like, I'll give you an example. My mom cut her finger one time in the kitchen, just like a paring knife. it was a tiny little cut, and I bawled my eyes out when I was, like, 5 because I thought my mom hurt herself really bad. So
Oh,
I was very, like, if someone gave me something, I took really good care of it, or if, like, it had meaning, it touched me deeply as a child. That's why I was so sensitive.
no,
I'm not
I
sensitive
wasn't.
anymore.
I know,
I'm kidding.
hardened.
Life does that.
So I didn't. It's weird. I didn't have like a lot of action figures growing up. I don't know why. The one thing I loved, there were those
Mm.
little green army men with the
Yep.
parachute, and you would throw them up in the air.
Yes.
I
I had that
loved that.
thought.
I would throw them out the window. I'd
I would
throw those
too.
things everywhere. I was just fascinated by the parachute.
Me
So
too.
that was probably the only thing I was able to like smuggle in the house. But one of my oldest friends, and if he ever listens, he'll probably know who I'm talking about. He had like all the cool action figures, and he had some of
Mhm.
the coolest Star Wars stuff. And I would love going over to his house because
That's
I didn't have
interesting.
any Star Wars stuff.
Hmm.
He had all this cool Star Wars stuff. He had the X-wing fighter. He had the, gosh, I can't think of it right now. The the thing that would hover over the sand. Gosh,
Yeah.
it may come back.
Hovercraft?
No, it wasn't a hovercraft.
I know.
But it was he had that, and he had GI Joes, which I always wanted to play, GI Joe. So yes, like He-Man, tons of He-Man action figures. So definitely would go over there and get my fill of the things I
That's
didn't have.
interesting.
I don't
I
know
didn't ha
why. I don't know why my mom just didn't. We didn't buy. I didn't have a lot of. I had weird toys, but not a lot of
mainstream.
anything that was violent. Wasn't allowed
Oh,
to have,
yeah,
like,
that's right.
violent things in the house.
Or maybe she just didn't think to buy it, It
Oh, no.
wasn't any
No, I
particular
mean, it was
reason.
the only thing I was begging for that stuff.
Uh,
Kidding me?
maybe okay, well, then she just didn't like it. I remember being 3 years old at the very first house I can remember, and we had gone somewhere after school, my mom, my sister, and I, and wherever we went, she bought me those parachute guys, and I went upstairs to the second floor window, and I was throw now talk about dangerous, right? Like, you're promoting kids to, like, take these things up to high heights. The higher you go, the better because the parachute's awesome, right? And, oh
Right.
my goodness, I love that, and I loved kites, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
would
me too.
kites were huge for me. The Frisbee, like aerobies, that was later, huge, really into that. I did not have a lot of action figures myself. The only I wouldn't call them action figures. I kept every toy from McDonald's Happy Meals. Like, I still have the box today, a box of all the Happy Meal toys. Like, those are I'll never part with them. I used to love playing with those things. And then Kroger used to sell in the toy aisle, they used to have like they were very trendy. Like they would sell a lot of like cool toys. So New Kids on the Block were huge back in the day. I was really young. And they sold all the New Kids on the Block Barbie doll, the guys, like little figures. And I collected all of them. They were like $9.99. Still have like the little orange typed sticker on it, on the box. But yeah, those are really the only action type figurines that I ever had.
New Kids on the Block. Oh my gosh.
I know, isn't that funny?
Bruh.
And I
My
love the
sister was
guy.
big into New Kids on the Block.
Oh, she would have liked the little dolls.
I think
And
she
I would
had a
pair them with
doll.
my Barbies.
I don't think she was a little bit older at that point.
Okay.
Like,
She
who
probably had
was the one that
posters.
fell off the stage? Oh, yeah, tons of posters. Fell off
I
the
don't
stage and, like,
remember.
broke their arm.
I don't
She
remember.
wore black, like, nothing but black. She was mourning
Are you serious?
the
Oh, that's
broken. Oh my
funny.
gosh, yeah. Heather will definitely, not be happy that I said that on the podcast, but it was
That's
funny. Like,
hilarious.
she
That is
was
funny.
and yo,
Hardcore.
I used to just make fun of is not strong enough of a statement, but wow,
Mm.
did I had a field day with her and that New Kids stuff. She was absolutely awestruck and yeah. But any case, so what about some of the more electronic toys? Did you have a Tamagotchi?
I did not. One of my most favorite electronic toys, Teddy Ruxpin and Grubby. When I got those 2 separately. I got Teddy Ruxpin first. And again, remember, I was really into stuffed animals and like imagine them coming to life. So Teddy Ruxpin, getting a Teddy Ruxpin with the tape, the cassette tape, and it would read the story to you. I mean, I couldn't have been happier. And then getting his sidekick Grubby, most amazing gifts ever, just magical. I had so much fun with those. And then I got a little play set later that was the balloon that they would get in, and you would inflate the balloon. And you had the figurines and that would get on the ship. It was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I didn't play with Teddy Ruxpin was if I was playing with Teddy Ruxpin, it would have been weird, but I remember the
Really? I
commercials.
don't know.
I remember the commercials. I mean, I remember it being a very cool kinda new thing, like, that automated, I don't know, autonomic,
Yeah, yeah, very
robotic kinda thing.
Disney-like.
Yeah, and like you said, having a stuffed animal come to life was, that was magical,
It was.
especially
It
back
really
then,
was.
so that was super cool, and even if you go way back, do you remember, like, Speak and Spell?
Yes, I do.
Or Spell and
Yep.
Speak? No, Speak and Spell.
Speak and spell it.
And I'll never forget the voice.
Oh, yeah.
C-A-T,
Uh-huh.
cat.
Right.
So,
But it's really crazy to think about those types of toys compared to now, and everything is just so advanced now, and back in the day, it was like, if you got it to talk at all, that was a big win, no matter what the voice sounded like, and now everything's like, "Choose your voice," the Englishman, the Japanese woman, the British boy,
s
the
so why does the world feel dumber? I feel like
Hmm,
maybe we should go back because those were harder to use. I mean, you had to, like, it was not
really
very
work to get them
intuitive.
to yeah. It was
Funny.
cool. It was really cool. And I
I
had
didn't
this
like
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, no, go ahead. You had
No,
this.
no, you go. I had a phone and you could dial Mickey and Minnie and
I
Goofy
remember those.
and Donald Duck and you could talk to them. And I wished with all my might that it was real. I just had such a fascination with things like
Those were
that.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those. Although it got boring after a while because it was like the
Yeah.
same loop. You didn't
Right.
really have a lot more to talk about or you listen to, but it was
Mm-hmm.
still cool. It was
It
definitely
was
still cool.
memorable because you didn't really have a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, did you have this? I was fascinated with this too. Magic sand, where you would get like a bowl
Yep.
fill it with water and you would pour the sand in there and it would kind of stack on itself and it came in different colors.
That reminds me of those my sister really loved these. They were those little tiny sponge figurines that you would throw in the water and they would
Oh
grow.
yeah. Uh,
And one was like grow a boyfriend. That was the one my sister had. And it was
Ah,
like a guy in boxers and he on the boxers they had like hearts on them. It
oh
was
my
just
god,
like
that's awfully risque.
no, it was funny, there was a time period, I guess it was, like, through the '90s where you could go to the store and buy these, like, greeting cards that had hunks all over them. They still have them today, but I feel like that was super prominent back in the '90s is that you would have all these, like, I don't know, toys or, like, gift items or greeting cards that had hunks all over them. I really
What's a
do think it
honk?
was, like,
A
a
hunk
hunk,
or a
like a hot
hunk?
guy. Hunk.
Hunk.
I'm trying to
Hunk.
I'm trying to articulate a
All right,
hunk.
Miss Tennessee.
Hey, he's a hunk. Hubba hubba. So yeah, and I would always get my sister I know I'm digressing, but I would always get her greeting cards that had like hot guys on it. And it'd be like, Happy birthday from the firemen, and it'd be like 4 firemen on the front cover and they'd be shirtless and have on like their fire marshal outfits.
Did you ever have a talk boy?
No, what is that?
Uh, that was like a
I
portable
don't remember
cassette
that.
recorder. That was fun. Kosh ball. Do you remember the Kosh
Oh
balls?
gosh, no.
Or Koosh, Kosh,
Oh,
Koosh
yes,
balls.
I do. I didn't have
Koosh.
a Talk Boy. I do remember that, though.
The Koosh balls were like insane. Everybody had those freaking things.
Hacky
And
sacks,
everyone's
too,
throwing out. Yeah, hacky sacks were a big deal. Moon
which is
shoes. Do you remember the
crazy.
moon shoes?
Oh, yeah, I had some. My mom got them at a yard sale for me.
That's cool.
They were
But
hilarious.
hacky sack was fun. I don't know if you ever played, but
I
I
did, I
mean,
wasn't very
we used to
good.
play in college. I wasn't very good
That's
either.
that's when I knew I wasn't good at soccer
Yeah, me either.
because you had to use your feet, to some people were really, really good. I was never. I was
Yeah,
good at juggling. I could juggle. I could still
not
juggle.
anymore. No, you can't. I've seen you try. So I wouldn't consider
Whatever.
that. I would consider that dropping, not juggling. How
You.
how about the easy bake oven? You had to
That
have
was a
had an
big
easy bake
thing.
oven.
Yep. And I loved, like, fake kitchen food, like a little kitchen. I was really into that.
I used to have a kitchen set, and it's probably partly contributed to my love of cooking. I'll never forget, I had this kitchen set. It was like this little kitchenette,
Mhm.
and it had a frying pan. You could put the frying pan on the burner, and you could put the bacon in the pan, and it would sizzle. It would make the
That's
sizzle noise.
yes, I did have something like that.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
that was cool.
I could play with that for hours.
Yeah, that was good. Again, I like things that worked or that made noises, so that was really cool.
I'd be curious, are the easy bake ovens the same today? Do they still
No.
use like a high
Well,
wattage light bulb? I always thought it was interesting. You're putting this high wattage light bulb in this plastic box with all these plastic things, and it can't be, that
but
food
it's
can't be
crazy
good for you.
because I mean, they've had that forever. It's still pretty much the same. Like when Becca was little, we bought I got her one and she loved it. Oh, I was gonna say one thing that I forgot to mention, and I know almost everybody knows this. Lisa Frank was
I
huge
am.
back in the day. She did all like these crazy colored like puppies and cats, kitty cats, baby animals and shiny, iridescent, everything was sparkle. Like that's the world I want to live in. I still love all her stuff.
Squirmies, that's what they were called. Sorry, the worm on a
Uh,
string was called Squirmies.
Okay. I still don't. Do you remember Pogs?
Yes, but it wasn't, a little late for me in the game with Pogs, but I remember
Yeah.
them.
I remember them. I never participated, but I never got it, like what the point was, but a lot of people love those.
Wasn't that what, like, they were you traded them? Or
Yeah,
no?
you did. You did. You traded them.
I mean, I grew up going back to, like, the late '70s, early '80s. My dad got my brother and I, like, all the Phillies, the entire baseball set for every Phillies team for, like, 7 years. It was
Oh,
awesome,
that's
and
cool.
I used to love doing this, and I was talking about this on another podcast. We used to flip baseball cards, and, you would I forget why we would do it, but we would flip, and that was a way to get someone else's card or lose one of yours.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And used to go into, like, 7-Eleven and pick up a pack of cards, and, of course, you would devour the gum. The gum was the most
Yes.
important thing in a
Always.
baseball card, and then you would thumb through the cards, and half the time, I mean, collecting was different. You didn't really think
Right.
about it as a collectible, so I wish
Oh.
I still woulda had those baseball cards because some of them were actually black and white, probably
Mhm.
worth something, but, they all burned in my house fire.
Well, did you play with the big wheel?
My favorite toy ever. Still to this
It
day, the
has
big
to be one of
wheel.
my favorites.
Yeah, and
Amazing.
I used to wear the tires out all the time, and I'd get so upset. I
I
would be
know.
so
I
upset, so
remember
sad, because
because
it's
you couldn't
game
get
over after that.
traction. Yeah,
Well,
there was
no,
no traction.
you'd have a hole in the tire,
Oh,
like, I'm
that's
talking
right. Yeah, that's
where
true.
through, especially when you use the spin out handle, like, you remember you
Yeah,
used to be able to pull the handle up and
I
it would lock
remember.
that back wheel and it would spin you around. I mean, big wheels, I think we talked about this on an earlier episode, but
We did.
big wheels, sit and spin. I mean, the sit and spin, like, talk about
Yes,
a terrible toy that would just cause you to vomit. I mean,
I know.
but you had fun. I remember that big rubber ball with, like, the handle in the center, and you used to
Love that
sit on
one.
it and bounce around. My brother
Do
used
you
to
remember
like
the
to
name of that?
basically
What was the name of that thing?
which
That was man, I love that. We used to get those out during gym class when I was little.
let's see what the interwebs. Hoppity hop.
Oh, okay. I think I remember it being called that. That's true. Um,
Hoppity hop. Yep, that's
I'm sure you
exactly what it was.
I'm sure you didn't play with My Little Ponies, but those were
No,
huge. And
no,
Strawberry
and
Shortcake,
I
always a
feel like
favorite.
My Little Pony takes on a whole different meaning now with, like, the bronies,
Oh,
the brony conventions and people dressing up as My Little Pony. Shout out to anybody that, does that. No shade. I feel like My Little Pony it might be a little tainted now because that's the image I get. But
Mhm.
very interesting to see what has spawned from our generation as far as conventions and such. But no, I
yes.
didn't play with My Little Pony. I didn't play. I will say, I have to admit a secret.
Okay.
I did go in and smell my sister's strawberry shortcake dolls.
Did you?
I did.
That's hilarious.
I
You
did.
couldn't resist. I mean, it
I
did
couldn't.
smell amazing.
That plastic strawberry smell is a forever memory. You'll
I
never
don't
forget that
know.
smell.
Honestly, I don't know how they got it to smell that good for that long because I remember getting a strawberry shortcake like 30 years later, like maybe 10 years ago, and it still smelled like strawberries. I'm like, what in the world did they use on this thing for it to smell this good for like centuries?
I
It
know.
is wild, right? Like, how do they get the strawberry shortcake
'Cause you'll even
smell?
go into, like, a thrift store and find, like, a box of toys, and it would be in there, and you're always inclined to smell it, and it's like, it still smells the same. It has not
Yeah.
changed, and even it's, like, super old, it still has a faint smell of it.
The iconic strawberry shortcake smell, often associated with strawberry shortcake, is created using synthetic fragrance chemicals embedded and baked directly into plastic during manufacture. I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, we knew that, but still, I mean, it's insane that they were able to get that recipe for that scent just perfectly. It's
How about
wild.
Care Bears? You were probably a
Loved Care
Care Bear
Bear,
fan.
big Care Bear fan. Yeah, I love that it had the little heart on their rear ends.
Yeah, see, I wasn't a Care Bear. I also absolutely attested the cartoon, so
I never watched the cartoon. I was always I watched the or, I love the toys, but I never watched the cartoon.
yeah. So what about, like, did you ever play with, like, anything Nerf or, like, the Super Soakers?
I did. I really, really loved water guns as a kid. Anytime so we didn't have a pool growing up, but my neighbors had pools, and I would go over there, and they would have all the toys, the rafts, the squirt guns, the water balloons, loved water balloons, the dive sticks for the pool, anything related to the pool, couldn't get enough of because we never had it, so I loved it.
So, one of the favorite outdoor kind of events is when either you or your friend pulled out the slip and slide.
Oh,
You remember the slip and slides?
yes. Oh, yeah, my neighbor had
Right?
one.
It
It was
was never
so
long
good.
enough, and
Nope.
you would always reach the end and get, like, some sort of grass burn,
Yep,
right? But
rash.
you were running back up, and you would I mean, literally, you were diving full speed on this plastic, like, tarp that just has running water on it, and you could level up if you put, like, soap on
I
there, and then it would be
yes. I remember being a kid, always thinking and maybe this is why I'm in UX today, but as a kid, and I don't know if a lot of kids are like this, I was always thinking of ways to make it better, to make the experience, to make the slip and slide longer. We would use trash bags. Which was terrible because it never worked unless you secured them. And then we were like, well, maybe we get a roll of plastic. Maybe we could squirt Joy,
oh
the
gosh.
dish.
Do they
You
still
remember
make
that?
Joy?
They do. Yep, my mom used to buy Joy
Wow.
all the time, and
So
we
did
would
my
squirt
mom.
it all over the slip and slide. I mean, I couldn't get enough of that stuff. It was just
That's
so amazing.
crazy. That is
Yeah,
wild.
yeah,
Well,
it was
this was
fun.
a good kind of rundown toy lane. So I'm curious if anyone else has any cool toys that they remember that we may have not had. There's tons more we could
And it
talk
could be
about,
from
but
any era, like, not just from ours. Like, there were toys that I found I think I talked about this in the last episode. I would go to my grandmother's house in Nashville, like, right outside of Nashville, and she'd always have all these really old toys in this chest of drawers in one of the extra rooms, and I found a couple of my mom's toys. Do you remember the little wooden handle that had the wooden cup on top and the string with
yeah,
the
and you did the
ball?
string.
Yeah, and so, like, there were tons of toys that I would find, from, like, my mom's generation or my grandmother's generation, so I
Well,
would love to hear everybody's.
yeah, that's you just sparked a quick memory. So my dad loved the paddle board with the pink ball and the string.
Yes! I love
So
that
he
too.
taught me how to do that because there's actually a way to do it. And yo-yo, my gosh,
I love
for
the yo-yo.
years, my dad, like I used to be able to walk the dog and do the triangle and do the pendulum and a bunch of cool stuff with yo-yos. Loved playing with yo-yos. So,
I did too. That was really
well,
fun. Easy
so yeah,
toys.
the creativity that you could do with some of this stuff was just like usually you don't think about a yo-yo as other than just kind of doing the up and down, but there's a whole like bunch of tricks you can do with yo-yos.
Right.
it was cool learning and teaching yourself some of those things. So
It was. It was entertaining, because you gave us like, we would get a toy like that as a gift, and you would spend your time trying to perfect it, you know?
yeah, yeah, master it, right? So there's still that desire today in adults.
Yeah, that
But
was
in any
fun.
case, this was a good episode. So thanks for taking a trip down toy memory lane with us. And as
Yes.
Catherine alluded to, let us know what your favorite toy was from any generation. Pop in the comments. We've been getting some great engagement over on our Reddit feed. So shout out to the Gen X Reddit feed. You're all awesome with all the engagement. Our our Stouffer's frozen pizza is still going viral. So shout out to Stouffer's for helping us go viral. But in any case, so yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, follow. It really does help the channel. And we appreciate all the engagement that's been going on. And we know that the holiday's tomorrow. So happy Easter and happy Passover to all that are celebrating. And I guess that's another episode of The Well in the books. So
Thanks for
I'm
joining
Drew.
us. And
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
Kat.
Drew. And who knows what we come up with next. But we'll see you for the next episode.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.